I saw your video, so I would have known that's for peanuts.
Yeah, right. So, will you pray with me, please? Gracious God, open my mouth to speak words of hope and truth. Open our ears to hear. In all your names, amen. So it is September 1st. Oh my gosh, where did August go? Fall is coming. I can almost smell the pumpkin spice from here.
Yes.
But of course, fall doesn't actually begin until the 22nd, right? So we still have a few weeks. Let's keep a lid on the pumpkin spice until then, maybe, can we? But it's more than a bit enticing. September, Labor Day weekend. It makes me want to run out and shop for a new outfit for school and a bunch of school supplies and maybe look at the books I need to buy for my syllabus. But I'm not in school anymore. Maybe I'll just get a new notebook instead. It does seem a good time for fresh starts and new beginnings, for clearing out and starting anew. And in case one of the things you're cleaning out is your closet or your garage or your attic, we do still have room in the garage for the garage sale. Roxanne is giving me dirty looks over. We are pretty full, but we can always use more. One of the things I didn't look forward to, though, when I was a kid, thinking about the new school year and a new class, one of the things I was not looking forward to was that new class. Who's going to be in there? It was always a really anxious time for me because you never knew who was going to be there until that first day of school. Would the bully be in your class, or the know-it-all, or would those mean girls be in the class with you? You have to put up with them every day. I usually knew about my closest friends, but I didn't know about the rest, right? So it was like, what's it going to be like this year? But by Halloween, generally, we had settled into a kind of routine. We knew each other, and we had worked out ways to coexist, mostly, so that we were able to deal with the people we didn't particularly care for or who didn't care for us. And so we knew who usually knew the answers to the math problems or who would always win the spelling bees. And yes, I'm that old. We did have spelling bees still when I was in school. We knew who told the best jokes and who could climb the rope in gym class and who brought the best treats for their birthday. Now, one spring day, I think it was in third grade, our teacher handed us each a pile of index cards. And one by one, we went through the class list, and everybody wrote something nice about that person, that they had observed about that person. We collected the pile of cards, that were written about us, so each of us had our own pile. We took that home, and that gave us something to read and remember over the summer. Now, thinking about this as an adult, I kind of cringe. Because what if some cruel kids say something mean instead of something nice? Or what if no one can think of something nice to say about someone? It didn't happen, amazingly. None of that, at least to me, none of that happened. And I was not exactly the most popular kid in class. So, the cards I collected said things like I was the best reader, or I told good stories, or I knew a lot about horses. I was a little bit horse crazy in third grade. Or I had pretty eyes, all kinds of things, positive things. We built each other up. We cared for each other. What that exercise taught me was, looking at my classmates, even the ones I didn't always get along with, there were good things about that person. They were good storytellers. They were fast runners or whatever it was. There was something positive about every single one of my classmates. So what does choosing a seat at a feast and caring for others have to do with each other? How do we read these texts together? And that does tie back to my class, I promise. Humility. Humility is the thing that ties them together. We reach out to other people and care for them, not because we hope to have them return the favor someday, they may or they may not, but because we know sadness and grief and loneliness and frustration and rejection ourselves. Our sorrows may not be exactly like the tears and grief that other people have, but we have an idea of what they are feeling. And so we have an idea that we don't want our fellow human beings to feel the way that we felt. We don't help others to be applauded for it. We may or may not be. We don't do it for the cookies, as they say. We're reward the cookies. I know a person who works very hard for other people, sacrificing time and I think even a marriage to support and help other people. When they're thanked or complimented, they turn it away. They don't want to accept it because they aren't doing the work for praise or thanks. In the same way, we don't assume that we are the most important people in the universe to other people, just because we are to ourselves. We're probably important to our family or partner, but as one among many, right? I can't say that one of my sisters is more precious to me than the other three, or any of them are more precious to me than my mother or son or daughter-in-law. We're all family together. And so it is for human beings, or ought to be, right? We don't feel more strongly about the plight of the hungry than we do the asylum seeker, or worry more about people who are looking for work than we do prisoners. And some of these overlap, don't they? The person looking for work who is hungry, the prisoner with mental illness, the refugee with disabilities. Everyone who is in need deserves our help. As a family of God, we care for each other, and no one has more prestige than another. Again, that's how it ought to be, right? There's a Jewish teaching that the task of humans is to heal the world, that the world is broken, the world is ailing, the world needs healing. Beautiful as it is. And our job as human beings is to help heal it, to be God's hands in the world, to create that healing and that comforting. If the world were whole and healthy, people would not be ill or hungry or homeless or in prison. Part of our work then is to do whatever will bring about that new world, that healing. And the very fact that we are doing some of those things, that people care for each other, shows that we are on the path of that healing. But we don't do it, as I said, for the cookies. We do it, we help others because we have needed help, or need it now, or know we will in the future at some point. And so we grieve and we hunger and we feel loneliness with our siblings. And in a world that we are meant to heal, our healing is reaching out, remembering our own pain, and helping others. So it doesn't matter where we sit at the feast, lower down or is fine, because we aren't there for praise. We're there to do. To feed the hungry, to clothe the naked, to bring water to the thirsty, to visit the people who are sick or in prison, because we've been there too. And we don't want others to feel that pain. Our new classes are waiting for us. How will we treat each other? In all God's names, amen.
Amen.